Oh, hello, select board. How are you doing today? A mahjong to you and au gratin to everyone. Listen, kids, we have a special episode tonight. All right. Tonight, we're going to kill a man and we're going to hide it and we're going to pin it on someone. Isn't that going to be fun? Just kidding. We're going to have Nurse Kimberly on. Nurse Kim, I'm so excited. She's bae. She's Mariah Carey before Mariah got fat and married Nick Cannon. She is Selena before she was murdered by Yolanda. She is Kevin McAllister right when he gets revenge on that kid who ate his pizza. Okay. Um, she's Rosie Perez looking up at Morrow saying, please don't spit on my head. Okay. She's a lovely woman. She doesn't want you to get sick. She wants to keep people well. That's her goal in life. She dedicated her whole life to helping assholes get better and good people. So we love Nurse Kim. We love her. We're very excited to have her on today. I think the best way to start off is by stealing from your auntie. And here's why. Because that whore is late. All right. And anytime you got a late whore, what do? You draw on her fucking face. All right. I think showing you the freak offs she does in the morning is probably the best thing to get you prepared. So we're going to show you that. We're also going to we'll bring Nurse Kim on after. You know, we like to start off with a good call of the whore. Uncle Frank, you're about to get put on blast. We're about to show you guys. We're about to show you guys your Uncle Francis and your Aunt Deb this morning. And I can't think of a better way to call a whore besides the moose flute, which we'll do that too. We'll show Nurse Kim the moose flute. I don't know if she's seen it. Maybe we'll have you guys do some call-ins, some Colin Alberts tonight. But this is a big select board meeting for us. We're going to be making a lot of decisions for our community tonight. Okay, a lot. I'm very excited to see you all. Yes, you're getting blasted directly in the mouth, Uncle Frank, and you're going to love it. Here we go. Let's show the kids what Uncle Francis did this morning with Aunt Deborah. How about that? How about a pre-dialysis freak off for everyone? Are you excited? Let's have you watch this. Are you ready? You're getting blasted. Here we go.
Stoops. All right.
Stoop kids afraid to like the stoop.
We got this, though. We got this like this. Just lean in. You gotta come lean in with me.
Let me just.
There ain't fucking shit we can do about this.
Let me just do this.
Oh, wait, what about this? Oh, no, that's making.
Yikes.
Bring it around town. Hi, Amy.
Here we go.
Good morning, darling.
Here we go.
Good morning, Amy. Boston. How are you? Do you have the map out? Because we tend to forget.
Maps out.
We do not know.
We're going to keep on straightening.
Okay.
Maps out.
Where can we, do you want to hold?
I'm going to hold this.
And then we can just put that.
And then we're going to plot that.
Yeah. Oh, did you bring the dragon?
Dragon's on.
Okay. So,
Dragon's
for
on.
some reason, don't know why, but for some reason.
Have to pop in and say every time I hear anyone mention dragon, it makes me think of that episode of Arrested Development where he yells, "Swoop, dragon, swoop me." And then he swoops homie in to give a kiss to his niece.
And then, like, dabble on things.
This is what you want to give me tonight, Jim?
No, not cocaine. It's like a
cocaine spoon?
Dabble on, like.
I did tell them about your.
Also, table this motion to ask Nurse Kim, can you do cocaine pre-dialysis? I don't think they did, but I do have questions.
Pictures. Tina, take your bell.
No, they fucking don't. Get back, get in this, get in so people can see. There you go. Say hello. Say hi to hellos.
Oh, good morning, everybody. You know I'm blind.
Where's our radio?
Where's all?
We need jams.
And we're gonna keep on.
Is Ollie's open?
Probably not yet.
I wouldn't mind.
So we can either wrap around, go.
Oh, straight and then turn. Yeah, I know. I know.
It is funny to speed people up, isn't it? And it's funny to hear Uncle Frank laugh fast.
Call them and say late.
Yeah, in 5 minutes we'll call. They can fucking.
They might call me. Who knows?
They're not gonna call you.
They're not gonna call me.
No, they would never do that. I sub XM.
Serious? Yeah. I wait till they do like the deals.
I know they want to give me 83% off right now, and I'm like, you fucking losers couldn't have told me this.
Oh, Rich
Before.
gets better deals. So
Yeah, no shit.
I'll
Of course she does.
about it. It's so
Oh,
early.
Parksy, good
Parksy,
morning.
good morning.
We got Laura up in here, curious. Kim, Amy. What up, Irish Crow?
Confused about the tiny spoon. I thought we were doing cocaine. Are you switching to heroin and you're not announcing it? Francis?
It's early because we're on a mish. We're on a way to do a thing.
Dialysis freak off.
We're going to do a dialysis freak off today. Oh my God, what if somebody's like
What if you meet
blood
somebody?
machine? I'm just going to say that for real. Not in your fucking facetious way.
Dude, you might. You don't
What
fucking
if
know.
somebody's blood machine touches my little blood machine and then like it's love at first machine tap? Eat my balls.
No.
I'm sorry.
I hate road rage.
You know,
Relax.
you know how I feel
Don't tell
about it.
strangers in trucks to eat your balls.
That was lighthearted for the morning.
What if they're going to dialysis? What if that's the man you're going to fall in love with? Or a woman?
I can assure you with that pickup truck, it's not.
You wouldn't date a woman with a pickup truck?
No, because they'd also touch
Or a
on,
man
like,
with a pickup truck?
either.
They also have what? Go ahead. Stereotype. What? What else do they have? No, go ahead. Tell the people what's wrong with a woman driving a truck. Go ahead, let them know. What's the matter? For all our truck driving women out there who support you. What is it? What?
Table the motion to ask Uncle Frank why you never bang a chick trucker. What is it about women in trucks, Francis? You never said. Also, Darlene. Hello, Darlene. Darlene, XEMT big hero here. We love her to death. Darlene, we're going to have to ask Nurse Kim about how many pens you can fit inside of you. I don't think it's healthy. I do worry about the ink bursting. I think we should have asked her first before you shoved them all inside of you. But since you are full of pens, we are going to ask while she's here. Table that motion. We will bring it up later.
Then they have what? And they have what, hon? What?
Then they have a really nice personality.
What were you going to say?
That's what I was going to say. They have a good personality.
Then why would you date them?
Because
What's wrong with women in trucks? Say it. You wanted to say it. Finish your sentence. Tell people. Tell fucking people. Go ahead.
on. Ow, my kidney, I can't.
Oh, you fucking lying sack of shit.
Let's talk about how we know Francis was lying when he said, "Oh, my kidney." Francis, that's not where your kidney is. Now, you know, I know nothing about the anatomy of the human body or maps. I still don't think Nebraska is real. I know that it's been proven to me and I've had roommates from there, but I think they were all gaslighting me. Also, that's not where your heart is, I think. I don't think that's where I think that's where your heart is, or a lung. I'm pretty sure it's a heart or a lung right there. I don't think there's a kidney there. Francis, you got caught.
The card back in the deck, your fucking kidney. Very fun movie.
Stop.
Who's gonna be there?
Who else gonna be there? We're not going to the fucking cookout.
We are.
Is this the cookout? Okay.
Yeah, it's like a clam bake.
Like, who else gonna be there?
Come on, get in.
When do we have to leave by?
Sherilyn, we'll table the motion to ask Nurse Kim why you're bleeding. A little concerning, but it depends on where the blood's coming from.
9, so we're 9, right?
If there's people we don't like, we're gonna know right away.
Do you think there's gonna be people we like?
I don't know, maybe not.
I mean,
At this time?
We don't know.
At this time of morning?
In our darkest hour, we tend to find strays.
Is this what Goodbye Earl is about from the Dixie Chicks? Darlene, I have questions.
I feel like
That's when straight.
15 minutes. All right, we'll give it 2 and you want to call?
I mean, I guess.
All right.
I'm like 5 minutes late, huh?
Yeah. All right, guys. Wish your Uncle Frank happy fucking dialysis freak off and tell her everything's gonna be fine and don't be a fucking cunt about it.
And or, we're just a little late. So, you're gonna.
I'm so glad. I glad you say. I can't talk today. I'm glad you said that, Baby Fish Mouth. Baby Fish Mouth is sweeping the nation. We are a dialysis sisterhood, okay? All my homies are on dialysis. All Deb's homies are on dialysis. I'm pretty sure Nurse Kim has to deal with dialysis sisters all day. So we are the dialysis sisterhood, traveling, not wearing pants.
Go up Providence Street to the left.
I don't know because you have the phone.
Okay. So, like, up here, you can go through these lights, then left into the.
Say bye to your people. This could be your last time.
Rude. Also, Curious Wendy. You're curious. I'm curious. I don't know where body parts are. I do think we should do OSINT on human anatomy. It's great that we have Kim on tonight. She's going to tell us where our organs are. I'm very excited about this.
My last line.
Yeah.
You never know.
Say what you want to say. What do you want to say to your haters? Who do you want to bitch out?
I told you you're getting a list.
We didn't write the list, so I already have the stuff in the back of my car.
Yeah, that's for things.
No, I have.
You have the clone touch scrolls.
No, I have the rocks.
Motion table.
And I have the stuff in the back of my car. I put it in my car when you weren't looking. So, so why don't you say what you need to say to people?
Good job, Darren.
Who do you want to tell to fuck off? Who do you want to tell to suck your dick?
I thought I couldn't say that this early in the morning.
You can say whatever you want.
I got yelled at for saying it to a driver.
Yeah, to a driver. These are people online. They can't come at you.
What if I don't want that smoke?
Okay, all right. You gotta call and tell them you're later.
Hun, how am I gonna do that?
Bro sounds so cringe. LMAO.
Oh, this kind of morning we're having.
That we're fucking doing today, motherfucker. Suck my dick.
Oh, it's kind of car ride.
All right, bye guys. Love you. Have a good one.
Guys, who gave Aunt Deborah a driver's license? Nurse Kim? Nurse Kim?
Hi, lovies.
Lovies, look, it's Nurse Kimberly. Everybody, so everybody put your pants on. Nope, just kidding. Take them off. She's here.
Take them off.
Here. Take them off. On. Nurse Kim's not wearing pants. I'm not wearing pants. Nobody's wearing pants here, kids. Nurse Kim, we tabled a few motions while you were away. I went ahead and started them. Question: Sherilyn's bleeding again. What should she do?
Sherilyn, where are you bleeding from, love?
Sherilyn, where's the blood coming from? We'll find out. We'll follow up.
Doesn't matter. Put a tampon on it. All right,
put a tampon on it.
Tampon on in it. We're good.
On it, in it. What about a pad? Are we rejecting
pads?
Pads
are for the week. Okay, we shove it. Thank you.
Shove it and love it. All right, I'm making a motion to pass suck my balls sticker. OB at Tish. Do you like a suck my balls sticker, Nurse Kim? How do you feel about that?
Love it.
Love it. She loves it. Everyone, we're passing. We're passing the motion, and we're going to keep a suck my balls sticker. We still don't know where Sherilyn's bleeding from. We will update. Uncle Francis says, Nurse Kim. Now, I'd like to ask a question. Where is your kidneys? Where are your kidneys? I apologize. Where are the kidneys?
Well, Uncle Frank was giving us some very, very significant misinformation during that dialysis freak off. We're going to have them bilateral mid-back where our kids live. Okay.
Bisexual mid-back in the back, kids.
Yes. Right under my roll of fat, under your bra line, both sides, babes.
Under the bra. Okay. So this is where the kidneys are. Now, Uncle Francis, if it was doing this. So maybe does Uncle Francis's heart need dialysis? And maybe she got the wrong one?
Yeah, we were just titty whispering right then. You know what I mean? Okay. She was, doing what she had to get through that heroin spoon.
Get through the heroin spoon, yeah. And that was a tiny spoon. It was very cute. It was very cute. I should have saved my cyst for Nurse Kim. Guys, we're going to do, so Nurse Kim, we love cysts here. We love pimples. We love cheese. You into
I'm
it?
A wound nurse. I'm a wound certified, nationally wound certified RN. You have things you want me to take care of. You need an incision and draining. You want me to just gander at that bitch and we'll pop it together. I'm your cousin, okay? And we're going to do this.
What is the most amount of fluid you've taken out of a wound?
Okay. Well, really good story. I was at Holy Family Hospital and I had a wound vac. Okay. And this was a stage 4 decubitus ulcer, which is a pressure injury to somebody's bottom, right to their butt. Their butt.
Polynoidal or in it?
It was on it. Oh. Like it was. So the wound vac goes on top of it. But this wound, guys, went all the way. And this isn't as delicious, but it went all the way down to the bone. So it had eaten through all of the skin. We go through our lipids, right? Our epidermis, our dermis, through the muscle, through everything down to bone. Okay. And then we healed that bitch right back up. And it was incredible. We had granulation tissue, but I was pulling out slough. I had freaking, what you talking about? How many? Maybe I'd say the most that has ever come out in a copious, because we use like crazy, shitty, awesome words, a copious amount of drainage, maybe 250 cc's. Pretty good. Pretty good. Like a small IV bag.
I'd like to show you something. Now, I told the kids I would trigger warning them in the future and that we would do this as a what do you call it, as a members only, just in case. But you know what? We also try to, we'll show you kinetic dance later. I spent almost a year callousing the children emotionally. Now, the way we do it, and I call them children because I used to be their dad. Now we're a select board. I'm Bob. They're the selectmen. They are the townspeople. Spent a year forcing them to watch the white people of Northport, Long Island do kinetic dance. It's an African dance, and they do it to release their rage. Now, it's very hard to watch. It is extremely disturbing. We will watch it tonight with you because,
Absolutely.
frankly, they fucking deserved it. I know you kids did something. So we're going to watch that. I am giving no trigger warning. Consider it a prank, kids. Consider it that's a prank. Consider it a prank. You deserve this. But you know what? You'll make a sacrifice because I didn't callous you for nothing. I'm going to show you guys a video. It is very disturbing, but if YouTube tries to take me down, this is for medical purposes and educational purposes.
Absolutely.
I'm going to show you a very famous video. Some of you might have already seen this. Now, the reason I'm showing you this one is because it did go viral, but also this is one of my friend's best friend's dads.
Yeah.
So when I was shown this video, it was by my buddy Ryan, aka Boobies. And Boobies said, when I was in college at Texas Tech, we had this friend, and I guess his dad or his uncle, I think it's his dad or his uncle, had a cyst on his back. They removed it, but they did it in like the kitchen. Sends me this link many years ago. I watch it. I cannot stop obsessing over it. I'd like to show it.
They didn't get the sack. Let's go.
Let's show it to Nurse Kim. We're all going to watch this together. Get ready. Oh my God, I'm rock hard.
I'm absolutely bricked.
Awesomely gross. I'm bricked as fuck. Here we go.
Wow.
How'd it feel? No?
Get it.
No.
What you need, Mamie?
Did you see it? Did you see that squirt, babes? That was all the pressure.
All the pressure. I look at God on her arm. So what does she do? Let's take a moment. What does she do? First of all, this woman is sunburned. So
Yes.
This is a pale woman. This is what this is what happens when you put canola oil on your body. Second of all, she wiped the sludge off of her arm. She did not use any alcohol. What do you think?
God, no.
God, no. Why would you? I'm
This
shocked
is
she's wearing
feral.
gloves. Feral as fuck. If any of you kids need me to do this to you, I will fly to do this to you.
Yeah, that's why this one just did. Just
Look at that 10 blade. Yes.
A 10 blade. It's like golf. Huh?
Can't say mom.
Does it smell like it did last time?
Does it smell like it did last time? Let's turn them up.
Oh,
Does
yeah.
it smell? Yes. Beautiful. Beautiful.
Look at all those.
That is incredible.
Oh,
That's very healthy. That is those are the cells we love to see. Get it, girl. Look at, I'm going to say that is one technique I would never. Why? Because I love people. I would do it much more gently, gingerly, but I love her.
we are at 1.25 speed, but what do you think? Let me ask you a question. So she's barefoot. We can see the dog bowl right there. I find another thing, you know, I love pets, but I do think it's very funny when the stuff shoots out onto the pet and everybody screams. It upsets me. The dog licks it and then it goes, and then it's just everyone goes ape shit. In this instance, very close to the food bowl, I'm sure there's a snoot right there in the corner watching. She is barefoot. She is wearing her Sunday's best. She's got a surgical tool, right?
It does.
So maybe some kind of nurse. I should ask Boobies. But what do you think of the squeezing from the top? Do you think she went farther? Do you think she went far enough out? Or it bothers me when they're right on it. I'm like, go further out and squeeze it.
You want to milk that. You want to milk it.
You want to milk it.
All right. We want to make sure that we are hitting, because you can see that not only was there so much pus and debris within that wound and actual beautiful cyst, but when we're getting it, you have to make sure that you're at the, you know, you're trying to get your peripheral edges, and you've got to make sure, because that's where your sac, the edging is going to be around the side.
it's kind of amazing how many different sacs on our body can fill up.
So many sacs.
So many sacs. Now, men have extra sacs. They often sit on them. I've always wondered, can a ball sac get a cyst like this?
Sure can.
Have you ever seen one?
I have not seen one like that, but I have seen ball cysts. And those, well, because it's follicular, right? So it was like there's follicles. We do have hair, you know, some balls have hair more than others. But yes, you can absolutely. And it would never go that long because a man could not handle that, right? Like they have any kind of issues near their testes, and they will let us know about it immediately.
Immediately, even if they're just full of cum. They're like, come get it out. They can't.
I have the poison.
And it's like, get it out yourself, right? Look at this.
Truly.
Back's a tracing. That's what she's doing, dude. She's tracing a back right now with a lance. Like, it's going to be beautiful. All right. So much abscessus. Excellent. Yes. Okay.
Yes.
I think I could be a psych nurse, but not an ER nurse. Hey, listen, anybody who's disgusted by this is child's play.
This is kid shit.
This is kid shit. All right. So I want you to think about that when you're watching trials. Yes, I'm going to loop it around to a lesson. When you're watching trials, like, oh, I don't know, a cop getting murdered on a fucking lawn. And when they say it was a car who did it, and you have a fucking nurse saying, I see these injuries all the time. Maybe not a car. She sees back wounds all the time. She knows what she's fucking talking about. If we're going to trust our nurses with our cysts, our kidneys, other things, we have to trust that what they are saying is accurate when they tell us that was not a car, that was a fucking fight or a dog, okay? As common as back cysts are, I'm sure there are a lot of dog injuries where dogs attack people. I think a nurse would fucking know. Nurse Kim, I want to ask you here and now in front of everyone, do you think Alexis grew arms and beat the shit out of that cop that night?
I do not, OB. I do not. And I say in the 18 years of me being a walking asshole and an RN in a masshole, okay, there has been no motor vehicle accident, AKA, we call them MVAs, okay, if you're in the hip, if you're in the know. Never seen one that resulted in no bruising to the said pedestrian that was struck. And also that, you know, we know that spontaneous combustion of a tail light would not result in the injuries to his arm and or the catastrophic brain damage that Officer John O'Keefe did sustain with, he had hemorrhaging in the front of his brain, in his temporal lobes, and he had a herniation in his brain stem. He was really, really, really injured.
And you know what? I want to ask you this real quick, and I'm going to pop this down. Don't worry, kids. We're going to finish watching this, okay? Don't worry. We're not done here, but this is a good lesson. There's a woman named Wendy. I'm sure you've heard of her. She's a lawyer. Her son is a man named Grant Smith Ellis. I shouldn't say man. He's a boy. Every morning when they wake up, Wendy stands up and says, Grant, come dress me. And then he zips up her fucking dress, gets a boner, comes everywhere, and then he goes on the internet and cries. Absolutely. So Wendy likes to go on to places like Vinnie-Politan and fucking Nancy and all these places. She likes to go on there and she likes to explain to people that as a shitty fucking lawyer, and I say shitty because it's my opinion and she's fucking bad at her job, she believes that she has the medical prowess, because I guess they teach you this in law school maybe, to be able to say that him thunking his head hard, crack in the skull, he got some sort of shaken adult baby syndrome, right? And it blew out his eye sockets. Now, I have had my entire orbital bone replaced with metal because I got punched in the face with brass fucking knuckles by a gang as they stabbed me. When that happened, my eye looked a lot like John's eye. I have a question for you. If you put your head on the cement in the back one time, is it going to blow your eye sockets out like they're fucking tires?
That's so, like, I'm going to just tell you something right now, OB. You are bricking me right the back up, okay? I can't even handle this. You want to talk about your smart and pretty ass right now? Of course it can't, babes. Because if you were struck by something in motion, you can get a counter coup. You can get like the, you can
get jiggle brains.
You get to get and jiggle with it, okay? But when you land on a stationary, AKA the fucking yard, you don't have reverberation and or hemorrhaging to every other part of your brain.
That's interesting.
It's impossible.
So you're telling me if you hit the back of your head onto concrete, it's not going to give you baby jiggle brains and it's not going to cause every fucking orifice to blow out and bleed?
That's 100%. I'm not even going to say 99 on that. That's 100% negative.
You heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen. You heard it here first. It's not going to blow out your eye sockets. Now, what's interesting to me is that they taught Wendy it would in law school, but they didn't teach you in medical school anything about this?
Listen, unless Wendy is part of, I don't know, area 51, 59, 63.
She does look like an alien.
She does. And when you were saying what Grant zipped up in the morning, I thought it was her witch's costume, right? Because when he takes off her mask and I'm like, ugh! But she's not even cool enough to be Angelica Houston, but gives me the vibe, you know? So yeah, that is, she could either be really ahead of her time as a lawyer or she's a walking idiot.
Now, she does talk like this, and she tries to do a really weird Paula Poundstone type of thing, and that can be a bit obnoxious. It's a little wait, don't tell me, but it's because I don't want her to tell me. I don't like her. So
we don't at all.
We don't. Now, look who's here. This is Guilty of Crime. Thank you for the Dr. Pimple Popper shout out, Guilty of Crime. I agree. Don't you love it? Guilty of Crime is a fabulous YouTuber. We love her to death. She came on and we talked about okie noodling. Do you know what okie noodling is?
No.
Oh my God. Maybe we need to have Guilty up eventually to do another okie noodle fest. Guilty is a fish. She's a fish expert. Now she watches a lot of, she watched it one time, a fish competition where people were weighing down the fish and it rocked the competitive fishery world. These guys were putting metal balls in the fish to weigh them down so they can win these fishing competitions.
Fucking men,
right? And of course, it's, what was it, Ohio, Michigan? Ugh, the worst.
Makes
anyway,
sense.
Guilty of Crime was all over it. We talked about it. I showed her okie noodling. I would love to show you okie noodling. This is something we do in the South, and I would like to hear you comment on the injuries. A lot of children do this. When we're about 4 or 5, we get thrown into creeks, and then we are forced to okie noodle. I would like you to tell us what type of infection could come from this, because if none, we're going to plan an okie noodling adventure. I'm thinking get all the YouTubers together and we do it together. Let's go ahead and see if she gets the sack out. Okay. We're going to see if she gets the sack out, and then we'll show Nurse Kim some okie noodling. I do think, speaking of getting things drained, I do think that Aunt Deb is getting her balls drained right now. Just a heads up, it might be a little longer, kids. All right.
100%.
Let's go back to Pop-Up Cyst.
Sean, is that you?
This is why he's mad.
He is.
They didn't get the sack out. Now, this is a bit of a weird technique.
Do we need to get the iodoform, I'm thinking? I'm just going to use a gauze. Okay. Down here because it's going to be so deep.
That's a huge hole.
Yeah, she really did some jigsaw jammering there. Could have just done a straight line.
Right? She poked a couple of holes.
Yeah, met several.
It's actually kind of a little face. It looks like me screaming into the night. Here we go. Very red. I see tons. This is nothing. Pausing it again to tell Nurse Kim's story. So Darlene, one time, I made the mistake of asking the group if they've ever seen a severed dick. Like, have you seen a dick get cut off? Because I have a Lorena Bobbitt weenie whacker knife.
Incredible.
And it was given away during the trial. Well, they were sold during the trial as like some trial swag for Lorena Bobbitt. And it is an exact version of the knife used to cut the penis. At least it said that. I did look at crime scene photos. It's in no way the same knife. But it does say weenie whacker on it. And it comes with a pin that says something like, when they sleep, we cut their dicks off or something. I don't remember. But I was showing it off one day. And because, you know, YouTube loves when you show off your knives. And Darlene, I asked if anyone had ever seen a severed penis, and she pops in with she's held one. So, of course, we stop everything. We ask her a lot of questions. Darlene held a severed cock in her hand when she was an EMT.
Incredible. I need to know, first of all, I've never held a severed cock in my hand. Okay. Yeah. I've seen several penile injuries. but never a decocitated, okay, if you will. Now, Darlene, how did the cock get in her hand? Decocitated cock.
I blacked out, so I don't remember. But send Nurse Kim my phone. Oh, she did. She did. Wait, you talking about the photos of the severed penis? So she sent me one where basically it's like a tree. You know how you can count the rings, and that's how long the tree is.
Yes.
Been alive. Cocks look like that on the inside, apparently.
Wonderful.
That interesting? Yeah, it's like you can count them and you can see how many X's they haven't called back. It's
absolutely.
I'll go
They're
find
crimes
them.
against humanity we see in their cocks. Yes.
Darlene, I'm going to show them to Nurse Kim, but off the record, because I do think, I mean, YouTube wouldn't let me play power hit ballad fucking protest lady Melanie, so I don't think they're going to let me show the cock, but I do plan on it. You can take the bob out of dad, but you can't take dad out of the bob. I'm constantly fucking bob. You're right. That sounds familiar. I would rather see autopsy photos than this. We could show you both. We can show you both. Let's look at all of it. Facts, says Wendy's. Been through multiple hernia repairs, 2 kids, 2 knee tendon repairs. Yep, this is a cakewalk. It actually does look like cake batter. I appreciate you saying that. Let's not get into anal fissures, okay? Let's. I'm very into fissures. You know that I'm furious for fissures. My log does not judge. Thank you, Ernie. Ha, says Uncle Frank. Been to autopsies. Cool. I know, darling. You've been through a lot. I'm too squeamish. Listen, I'm sorry, but this is our body, you guys. We're going to learn about our bodies today. All right. Nurse Kim is going to show you on the doll where they're going to touch you. Look who's here. Look who's here. It's Mrs. Parks. Hello, Cuzzo. Hey, girl. Miss Parks.
Hi, Mrs. Parks.
You're Glenda the Good Witch. You're my Mary Poppins. You floated into some weird shit today. Get ready. You're going to be really excited. Auntie Deb smoked the Lord's lettuce with him when Michael Jackson died. I believe it. I believe it. Love you, girlfriend. We love you. Hi, Jai. AJ, the blood in his brain had nowhere to go, so it will move from the back to the front too, which can cause a lot of issues too. Ooh, this is a good thought. Blood moves. I'm very curious though, because if he's laying on his back, what we learned in crime scene investigations was that like the blood will pool to the bottom. Can it pull upwards? And also, does the temperature have any difference? Frank, Kim, what do you think?
Yeah, so you definitely, like when you're passing away, right? We call that lividity. So when the pooling of the blood ends up at the back where he's laying, we want to see all of that, right? That makes sense. But Officer John O'Keefe didn't have lividity at the time at 6 o'clock in the morning when Anthony Flamati got there. So that's why it was a viable candidacy to start resuscitative event, like, you know, to start going. Now, we do also want to say that the hypothermia and the cold, the 18 to 22 degrees that night, was a blessing and a curse, right? Because it's slowing down everything and retarding, not retarded, retarding our extremities and keeping everything, you know, in our organ bases, right? We have to just try to keep everything here. And then, but, you know, unfortunately, we know how this ended up.
Now, your dad is very, AKA Bob, very immature. Had to laugh real hard at retarding, because you know what I like to call this, with all due respect. My uncle, who babysat me my whole life and showed me wrestling, I didn't know what was wrong with him, but when I would ask him, he would go, I'm retarded. And I'd go, okay. So I asked my grandma one time and she said the same thing. She said, he's retarded. I went, all right, well, that's just what he is. So I don't know what he had. It was like a Rain Man thing, but I do know that I've called this since day one, the retarded departed. And I mean that. It's what's happening here. It is the departed, but it's kind of like, retarded. Okay, well, it's a little retarded. And I do think, and also, what does petard mean? Does anyone know? Hoisted by his own petard? I've heard this before. Do you know, Nurse Kim?
I do not know.
I don't know. I've heard petard a lot on the internet, and I'm curious what that means. Anybody who knows the definition, please let me know. Also, is this Papa Sean? I'm gonna have to ask Boobies. I'm gonna tell you right now, they do constantly try to get the sack out. They can't get the sack out. How would you recommend someone get a sack out if they can't? And also, thank you, Joseph Kane, for that $1.99 super sticker. we will get some bacitracin with that money. So I appreciate that. Everyone, please hit the like button. What do you think? Let's say I got a big sack in my back. How do I get it out?
Yeah, you're gonna want to trace around. You've got to get an instrument, and you've got to go in and around the sack. You can't just, unless the bitch pops right out. Okay.
Okay.
And on occasion, if you get a good epidermoid cyst, that bitch might just bloop right out. But if you have other kind of squamous or any other types of cysts, you may have to work for it, bitch. It's not just coming to you easily.
Mm-hmm.
So with said tool, if you had a 10 blade, if you had tweezers, if you had, anything that you could, it's a detachment, right? So our sac is right under our dermis, which is the layer that is where all the cream is coming from. It's right around it. So that's where they should have been trying to de-wiggle and kind of unsacculate.
Yeah, I would like to see everyone get unsaculated right now. Please pull your sacks out for this. Petard is a sword fight, a fencing sword. Hoisted by his own petard. So, hit by his own sword.
Strum your own petard.
I'm strumming a petard right now. I'm so excited. Thank you, Andrea. You're getting a star. You mean a lot to this board. Thank you for defining words for us. Excellent question, Baby Fishmouth. What was Baby Fishmouth's question? Let's move up. The head wound would have bled a lot. No, I don't know. Would it?
Sure would have. Okay, babe. Also, just wanted to say, because I know that you guys are the smartest and the prettiest, and I love every fucking thing about you. When Officer John O'Keefe landed on said frozen ground, why was there only a 2.5-inch laceration to the back of his head? Because you know damn right well that his head had hit much more surface area than that 2.5 inches. Now, if they had told me and said, bitch, there was a boulder, okay? He smacked it on the side of a I don't even know, a Kit Kat cup. I don't know. Maybe there was a mug outside or some other random projectile. No, he didn't. So if you're just saying it's the ground, I call bullshit.
I would have laughed so hard if you were on the stand and if Yannetti yelled at you, bitch, it was a boulder. That would have been so great. What a trial. What did you think? Also, Ernie Birdie, thank you so much for that $2 super sticker. We will be getting gloves for when we remove the sack. Thanks to you. We will combine it with the bacitracin from John for $1.99. Thank you so much to everybody. For Joseph, Joseph Kane, JK, just kidding. We will be buying everything so that when we remove the cyst, we do it correctly. Take out the Zach or it comes back. I like that. We will start spelling it Zach. I did see Miss Parks up there say chef's kiss. I want to remind you, kids, she's the only one allowed to say it. We got rid of it. She did motion to bring it back and we agreed. We voted on it. She's allowed to say it. You're not. All right. LA, I had to have excised.
Yes.
Excellent. I'd like to see pictures. Please send me your wounds. Darlene, not you. I've seen all your wounds. Darlene. Gremlin, I haven't been able to make a live for some time. What an epic episode to return to, Gremlin. We got Nurse. If you guys have medical questions, Nurse Kim, I'm pimping you out tonight. Do you mind answering? All right, good. Excellent. We need special tweezers. Now let's show her. What do you guys think? It's petard, not petard.
Okay.
Oh, so it is petard. Wow, that's funny. Okay, I just threw up in my mouth. Please swallow it. We are at a board meeting. With scalpels twice, no bras for weeks. Trying going to work at a law firm that way. Under your bra line?
Did I ever tell you guys about the time I got shingles after I had I had COVID? I got COVID and flu B. Hit it up, right? So I have this incident, all right? It's like the year of our Lord 2022. What am I doing? Just tucking and rolling. Full-blown shirt cocking, and what happens? I catch the COVID. Then next thing you know, I'm like, damn, I'm dragging ass. Like legit cannot get my shit together. I'm 8 days on the couch, just making it stop. Then I feel what appears to be glass burning shards, potentially 45 motherfucking pieces, just dragging under my left titty, okay? And I think to myself, this is the end, right? I'm like, you dumb whore. What has happened to you? Who are you? How has this happened? Well, sure as shit, I go, I find it. I thinking to myself, I thought it was just like an under titty rash. I was like, bitch, change your bra, potentially do some laundry, because, you know, things happen when you're on the couch for 8 days. Long story short, I go to the doctor and I had an entire trail along the left under titty on my nerve line, and I couldn't wear a bra for 4 weeks. The end. Nurse Kim's shingle story.
I love that story.
Thank you so much.
Dylan got shingles once. He hates it when I bring it up, but he got it on his face. And I said,
oh, that's so danger.
We're going to the hospital because that's if
Your
it's
eye?
kids, by the way, if it's by your eye, if it's by your ear, if it's on your face, if you get shingles, if you get anything, if you get an infection on your fucking face,
you gotta
go to the hospital.
Please.
If you are planning on posting it in the Poppers Delight Reddit, do that first and then go to the hospital. But by all means, go to the hospital. Because yes, I want to see it, but I don't want you to die from it. Okay.
Immediamente.
Yes. And here, this is a good question. So if I apply pressure, the white fluid squirts out. Should I wait longer until it congeals?
Daniel, you friggin' pig. You know exactly what to do. Look at your shirt wide open, Casanova. Okay.
Dude, he came to my show. Daniel's beautiful. Daniel came to my special where my friend drunk heckled. He's beautiful. He's such a sweet little angel. I cried. He hugged me and I went into the bathroom to cry. He smells amazing. Okay.
What's your scent? What's your scent, Daniel? What's your scent of choice?
Like if they made a Victoria's Secret, but just for men.
Yes.
It's not wood. It's not a wood smell. It's not a hippie smell. It's something else. It's a pheromone. Daniel smelled very nice and he has great jewelry. Great jewelry. He's an elite individual. Speaking of elite individuals, oh my God, you kids are so fucking elite. Look at this. Melissa, look, we got the money. We've got Ernie Birdie Baby. We now have the money for gloves. We have the money for bacitracin. With your money, Melissa, we will buy a scalpel. All right.
Fuck yeah. I can get them. I got a durable medical equipment company. Listen, seriously, fuck. Well,
did you say durable?
Members only.
Okay. Well, I have so many questions. So, best guest ever. Thank you so much. I did have to bribe her. I did. She's getting 40,000 for this appearance. So, thank you, kids. And with
40,000 boops. Sorry.
40,000 boops on the snoot for me.
Yes.
I was just about to fucking say, can we put Nurse Kim on the fucking stand for the next trial? I mean, that's the goal. The goal is to get Deb up there so that they have to read her text messages back to her so that you guys can hear all the slurs she says. And then the other goal is to get Nurse Kim up there because she's got comedy, beauty, and fucking brains. The trifecta, you guys. Chef's kiss.
Thank you.
Chef's kiss. And look, you're allowed to say it, Nurse Kim. Possibly 45 shards of glass. Let me ask you a question. Did they put the glass together and then present it on a box in a box to you? And then they pull the box out to show it to a jury and they put it back in and they forget a piece of that shard. Did that happen?
Sure didn't. Sure didn't. Okay. You friggin' corrupt sons of bitches. Ready? Oh, can I do it on your show?
Yeah.
Ready? On your mark, get set. What the fuck do we do when we get enraged about 45 shards of taillight? On your mark, get set, punch a Proctor.
Punch a Proctor. I don't have one above me. Canetti. Punch a Canetti.
Oh, yeah.
Dude. Proctor, look at him. He looks like Tom Segura. First of all, the first time I saw you go, I fucking laughed so hard because I'm staring at him right above you the whole time, and it kind of looks like he's digging in your head.
Yep.
See? Look, he's getting in there. He's putting the shingles on Nurse Kim.
Yeah,
he's putting the shingles on her. He's putting the moves on her and the shingles.
Damn.
Damn. I've had it twice, but have taken care of a lot that has it on the face and they lost or come close to losing their sight.
Big doing, Frank.
You had shingles twice. So I want to ask you guys this because, oh my gosh. Dylan said it felt like one time he got a like 2nd or 3rd degree sunburn, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it was bad. Like his skin was boiling. It was bubbling.
Yeah.
And he got this thing in Texas. We call it the devil's itch. Do you guys know about that? It's a sunburn thing. It's when your sunburn's so bad and then it's healing and you're not supposed to scratch it, but it itches and it starts to itch inward, like inside of your body. Like you feel constant itching. I heard someone during the Maya Kowalski trial say that she had, it was so sad. She said that she had CRAPS, the CRPS or whatever it's called, CRPS. She had that, and she said, I've had the devil's itch before, and that's what CRPS feels like.
Oh.
And I think about Dylan was in so like he was punching the wall. He was like, ah, it was like as irritating to him, I think, is when he got LASIK. He hated LASIK. He doesn't like people touching his eyes. But he said the devil's itch. He said
That's what that trial was the reason, Maya Kowalski trial. Now, I didn't know like what was going on when it was actually happening. But when I covered, that was my first case that I ever covered on TikTok. And that made me, I was so fucking worked up. First of all, I don't do kids anymore. I can't do it. I cannot. I did a Harmony Montgomery. She was a girl, a 5-year-old sweet baby up in New Hampshire. But when I covered Maya's case, I felt like close to Beata because like she was a nurse and she was just trying to do, like, I felt like she was really trying to do the right thing for her baby. And at the end of the day, she knew fucking damn right well that J-Hack would never give her back unless she was out of the picture. And for her, that whole family, that was so horrible. That's how that's when I went to get my legal nursing consultant, was after that trial, I did my certification.
Oh my God. Here's another thing about that trial that I always wanted to scream, but I didn't have I think I might have just got my channel. I just remember like wanting to yell at people constantly, like, she's not a bad nurse. She's not mean, and she's not being rude to anybody. She's fucking Polish, you idiots.
Yeah.
My dad is Polish, from Poland. He talks like this. He sounds like Borat. He can barely fucking talk. It's just like Germans, okay? If they are telling you, I love you, thank you for the sandwich, it sounds aggressive. It sounds mean. They're like, thank you, I fucking love you. Like, that's how they talk. If it were translated into English, it would be as if I was yelling at Nurse Kim, you're fucking pretty and everyone likes you. It sounds mean. What she's saying is just normal conversation. This is how Polish people are. They're always yelling. My dad has a shirt that says, I'm not angry, I'm just Polish. Like, this is a normal thing. It's Eastern Bloc people. It's Polish, Ukrainian, Russian, and some German. Like, that is how they talk. Every single transcript with Beata Kowalski, when they say this is what she said to me, it was never rude.
No,
it's how she said it is how the nurses describe. And it pissed me off so bad because it's like they took her child away because of cultural misunderstanding and tone.
Well, yeah, and also I think that it was a wicked. I thought that it was a horrific overstep, right? Like for you to say, I mean, and I understand, like, but Maya never had any, like, well, when she went down to Mexico and then she came back, but like when she was doing her outpatient care, they brought her to the emergency room. It's not like this kid was ODing off ketamine, you know what I mean? Or anything like that. Like she was in severe 10 out of 10, like she was in excruciating, like you were saying about the devil's lettuce burn.
Yeah.
And then on top of it, the complex regional pain syndrome, the CRPS.
And then her nerves.
Yes.
They were cramping her. And she even said it's like a Charlie horse. But they didn't say Charlie horse. They explained it as like a late night leg cramp. Do you remember that part?
I don't.
They said she was talking. They were talking about her feet, and they were saying that there was no signs of heat or something. Like they did something where they were like, oh well, there was nothing wrong with her. She was faking it, and the mom was trying to tell them like, no, it's like cramp. Like she was saying, like it's like a bad leg cramp, and that's what that little girl is feeling all the time. Jesus Christ. And then what's her name? Kathy Shank. I don't remember her full name. You know, oddly enough, it kind of a similar thing connects to a couple of other big cases. The Madeline Soto case, which Jay covers a lot. So in Madeline Soto's case, there was an issue with people trying to connect it to a Santa Claus guy who was had a lot of kid porn, right? And that guy had at one point taken his kids to Disney World. But what's interesting is he was also a DCFS worker. And even though the cases weren't directly connected, they happened around the same time. So this guy was a big perv. Him and his son were essentially taking the neighbor kids, taking pictures. The son blew his brains out while the SWAT team was on their way to take them in because they were supposed to turn themselves in. His dad, who was a mall Santa Claus at one point, he's about to get arrested. He's ready. They come take him. They find out he was a DCFS worker in both Florida in the private sector, in the same one, when I looked it up, the same one that old Shanky Butts was in. And he was in one in South Carolina. He met guess how he adopted his kids?
How?
They were from a case he worked.
Oh, that's so far. That's so gross. I don't like privatized child welfare. Like, if you have a privatized system, there's incentive, right, to have our kids continue and be in that system. And there was so much malice in that case, and also in the case you're talking about.
It was bordering on the old school adoption, like Edna Glatt, where they go steal a baby and adopt it out. In this case, imagine your DCFS worker is baby shopping. Which kid can I adopt first?
This is the one I want.
That's what Kathy Shank or whatever her name was trying to do.
Put her on my lap. I'll be your mommy.
I'll be your mom. Let me take your clothes off. Let me take some pictures of you. Why? It's fucking insane. And the fact that this department in Florida, this very specific private sector version of DCFS, is not only, right, are they not stepping in on time on several cases, but they're allowing people to work there who would end up hurting kids, diddling kids, and spreading CSAM. That's fucking terrifying. It's really gross that it's essentially a legal way of illegal adoption. If you think about it, like, because the certification to become one is not that hard in Florida either. In fact, it's about as difficult as becoming an apartment locator. So it just fascinates me that we keep enabling these groups that allow people to do that. And in Maya's case, I found it so strange that this woman who is helping enable the whole concept that she's faking it is also checking her out like she's going to try to take her.
Yeah.
Like, you're going to have to, eventually she's going to have to recognize that this is a real thing this girl's going through. If she were to try to adopt Maya or take Maya, now you have to deal with the CRPS and you just denied it exists. Yeah. What would that have been like? I don't know. I'm glad it didn't happen, but I'm also sad that girl's mom fucking blew her brains out or hung herself, right?
In the garage, yeah.
And then the brother found her, and then everybody's like, why isn't the brother more sad? Like, I remember seeing people say shit like that on Reddit, and I was getting furious. I was like, because Polish people have a hard time crying, god damn it. But like, it really felt like this whole thing could have been prevented if people had cultural understanding.
Yeah.
Of nurses from Poland.
Yeah. And mothers. She's a mother on top of, if it was her patient, she would have fucking just spoke to you in that way. Never mind her daughter, who she would do anything. Like, when your kids are sick, you sit there and you're like, oh my gosh. I remember one time Mia, my oldest, was like, when she was like 4 or 5, she had she had an upper respiratory infection and she's laying on the couch. And this is when she loved me. Now she's almost 15. But when she's laying on the couch and she's just breathing shallow, like so shallow and so tachycardic and everything. And she's like, I'm okay, mama. And I'm like, I'm keeping it together because I'm her mom and I'm a nurse. But I was like, if they don't fucking do something immediately, I am going to blow the whole place up. Like, if you don't help my baby, you will all be gone. Okay. And like, and that's just, and me, like, I'm like an ass kiss. I'm like, or like, not like, I get nervous in front of people and I'm like,
I heard you with the delivery guy. I heard you with the delivery guy when he didn't bring your pizza. And then you were like, I'm going to fucking tear his asshole open. And then you're like, hey, hun. And then you gave him a big tip.
Said, I know you're having such a busy night.
Jesus. My grandma used to do that shit because she was a military nurse. And I have a ton of stories about her. She's batshit crazy, love her to death, super mean, but love her to death. She's Lucille Bluth.
Ooh.
I tell everyone, Lucille Bluth, when she says tonight for breakfast, for dinner, Lindsay chops. Like, that's my grandma. Okay. Nurse her whole life in the military, BAMC Medical Center. Wild as fuck. Tiny little woman beat the shit out of a guy once for standing too close to her behind her at the ATM. She was 68 when that happened. beat him with her cane. She's nuts. She used to take the needle from, I used to go to the hospital for everything. I fell out of a tree. I got hit by a car. I fucking broke my arm constantly. I was just always, I fucking went through a church window, the church that got shot up, fucking glass sticking out of my arm from the glass. I just ran through it because I was like, I gotta turn now. And I didn't. Like, I think I might have real ADD, but I ran into it. I have glass sticking out of my arm. I'm in shock. I remember they had to give me an IV, and my grandma gets there and they can't find a vein. And they probably stuck it in my arm like 6 times.
Oh,
I remember her grabbing the wrist of the male nurse and squeezing it in a way that he went, ah, and he drops the needle. She catches it, pushes him, boop, without a second in there. And she's like, you need to go back to medical school. Like, she was so fucking pissed, so rude.
she's not a pincushion, you fuck.
Dude,
Yeah.
my ovary blew up in the 8th grade. She walked into there. My friend's dad was my doctor. And he's like standing over my bedside. And he's like, well, and he's holding up an x-ray. And he's like, well, this looks, and she walks in. She just shoves him out of the way. Let me see that. Tells him exactly what's wrong with me. Looks like she had an ovarian cyst. And she's like, turns around. She's like, you need fluids. You're dehydrated. Like, she just will come into a room and take over.
Is she still with us?
She's still with us. She
Can
every
she
time
scream?
Huh? Oh, I would put her on here, but we would all get canceled. Anyone in my chat would get canceled. First of all, this is a woman who was like, they're going to let gays vote. I'm like, they can already vote, like, I saw a trans in the post office and it looked at me like, she's fucking crazy. And then 1 second later, she'll be like, I met a wonderful trans woman. And then she just all of a sudden, this one time she told me, I'm not going to go into it, but a very infamous serial killer was, she, I guess, was in part of the group that may or may not have trained them to be an EMT.
Mhm.
And she was drowning. She's not very good at swimming. And she's drowning in this pool. Like, she's like, this is her story. So it's probably she was just having a nice time and met the guy. But in her story, she's drowning. He jumps in, he saves her. And she's like, he was gay. Like, that was the end of the story. So they can be good too. And I'm just like, oh my Christ. And so when I'm older, I remember her telling me, why can't you be like so-and-so? And I'm like, he murdered a lot of people.
Yeah.
Like, really, we're going to go there? But this is how she is. And she's the same person. She will find a vein. She goes, sometimes you can't see it. You got to feel it. And then
You
she
always have to feel it. I always thought listen, it took me 2 times. Don't judge me. To actually get my IV certification, because you want to know why, babes? I wasn't feeling. And I have to roll those bitches. Okay. I'm ready. I look at a man with a good set of, listen, I'm not getting excited about how you look, but if you show me some popping veins, I think to myself, what gauge? Ooh, that's what I think. I get excited.
Veins. I just love the idea of, like, how big are your veins? Let me see your veins. Okay, this date is
and then I'm just like this to him. I'm like, I'm like, oh, an anti-cube.
Ooh, can I feel your nodes? Can I feel your nodes?
Oh, I want them. I want it all.
We're going to go through some of the comments real quick. Is it true that shingles forms a ring around your body? It's really dangerous. I'm pretty sure that's any infection, right?
Yeah, but it always goes on a path. Like your shingles, in theory, it's going along nerve endings, right? So that is why it is so painful. But if it goes all the way around, usually it's unilateral, one-sided.
And I know that when my nerves healed back in my face, it felt like 1,000 little pricks of a needle. It was very annoying. You want to slap it like a new tattoo.
Yes.
And they said that's good. That means your nerves are growing back.
Because if they weren't, if you were just like,
like Jim Ross. And I also, when I would touch here, I would feel it here. And they said that it was a weird, like, they said sometimes that happens. And it's like
refractory,
a weird, yeah. I was like, ooh, it was fucking weird. And I remember one time a mosquito was biting me on this side. And I slapped myself on this side because I got used to it. Your brain gets used to that. And then when it normals out, you forget.
Yes.
Ernie Birdie says Illuminati. I don't know the answer to that. Daniel, are you happily married? And if so, what is your blood type? Clam would like to know. Why isn't Nurse Kim on the stand? Because it's too late at night and they're not having court right now. My
Fucker.
dad had shingles on his face and close to his eyes, and they hospitalized it. Yep, because you could go blind.
Want to go
My
blind?
daughter just asked me 20 minutes ago, asking, this is a good one, if she had chickenpox vaccine because her teacher has shingles. And now we are talking about shingles. Now I'm nervous. She was asking if she had the chickenpox vaccine because her teacher has shingles.
Yeah. Do you know that, Becky? Do you know if your child had the chickenpox vaccine?
We'll
Like
go
in
down.
her like just look at her vaccination records because you get them when you're like 1 or 2.
Well, also,
I
that's
had shingles. I mean, I had chickenpox. That's why I
okay.
was like, I went to my cousins and went to a party in a basement. As soon as one of them got it, they were like, be over at 7. And we would go to actually give it to each other.
So you went to Jeff's basement and got chickenpox product?
I did.
Oh my God. You know, we see those people online and we think they're crazy, but is that crazy?
No.
No. All right. You heard it here from a nurse. That is a good question though. If you get the chickenpox vaccine, is that supposed to prevent you from getting shingles?
Yeah, if you get the chickenpox vaccine, you won't get chickenpox, and like you have way less risk in the future to have shingles. Technically, could you be like 1 in 100? Like, you know, your percentile is far, far lower because you've never had active infection in your body.
Okay.
Because
Well,
chickenpox are shingles.
So I think my boyfriend had chickenpox and then got shingles.
Yeah.
And then, okay, cool. And someone acted like that was weird to us. And I was like, why is that weird? I think that's how it's supposed to
That
be.
is how it is. Yeah.
He also has this thing called Cyst inversus totalis. Have you ever heard of this, Nurse Kim?
No.
I love telling nurses this. So my boyfriend has flippy guts. His guts are all flipped and like upside down.
Oh.
So his heart isn't where your heart normally is. Like everything's inverted and flipped.
Shut up.
Yeah, it's for real. And so when he was younger, they go to like check his heartbeat and they're like, there's nothing. And then they were like, he was having an asthma attack. And they're like, that's fucking weird. But then they did the thing on his arm and then they could count. But they're like, but where? And then they come in with an x-ray and they're like, and they put it up. And the doctor was like, it's upside down. Wait, no, it's flipped. And then he's doing this and he's like, what the fuck? And then they said, has anyone ever x-rayed him before and like told you anything about him, about his guts? Like, is there something, like the doctor was like kind of in shock and his mom tells him like he has this thing called Cyst inversus, but it's like the totalis kind because there's 2 kinds. And then the doctor's like, oh my God, I've never seen this before. I've only read about it in books. And then he asked their permission. This is why he hates going to the hospital because they brought all the nurses and doctors in. And so, and it's true. Every time we go, they're like, what? And they freak out and they want to x-ray him. But
where did you listen when you have a stethoscope? Where do you listen to his heart?
I don't fucking know.
Okay. Well, can you ask him and just like bring that back to the board meeting next time?
Yeah, I did. I remember.
So I'm wondering, is like it in his belt? Like, is it in his like near like his belly?
I think it's like here and on the wrong side.
Oh, okay.
And so it's something like that. But also when his lungs hurt, because they're just like flipped, they're just still in the same spot. That's what's weird.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's only a few organs are different. But what's funny is when he would grow up and he had to do the Pledge of Allegiance, he just didn't do it. Oh. And I was like, why? Because you didn't know where your heart was? And he's like, no, because fuck that. He just didn't want to do it.
He'd be walking around with his hand on his dick. He was like, hey, Pledge of Allegiance.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's like,
if a person never had chickenpox and isn't vaccinated for shingles, is it just a matter of time?
No, if you've never had chickenpox, you've likely, well, unless you've never had chickenpox, you've never had a vaccination, then you could absolutely get shingles later on in life. But the vaccine is going to cover you for chickenpox and most of the time shingles as well. But then when you get older, over a certain age, you can get a shingles vaccine too. But fuck extra vaccines if you don't have, I mean, in my opinion, just like, you know, when we do the flu every year, you're just guessing. It's guesswork, right? Like I'm not going to go and get a flu vaccine for what's going to happen is that it's not covering the right strands that year. In my history, the one time I got the flu, I got a flu vaccine, I got the fucking flu.
You know, I used to be, because they know I'm a bleeding heart liberal piece of shit, but I used to be super. If you don't get, like, I have literally said, if you don't get the fucking vaccine, you selfish son of a bitch, you
The flu
deserve to
vaccine?
get it. Oh, any vaccine, like the COVID. I was that guy. I was like, you fucking get it or you deserve what happens to you. I was an asshole. Well, guess what? I've told this story to a few people. I never talk about this a lot because it always ends up in fighting. But after 3-4 years, I think that after finishing the experience, I'm totally comfortable talking about it because I've heard so many other people say the same thing. Look, still pro-vax, never going to judge you for not getting it. And here's why. I opened my big fat fucking mouth about it, and I was a big dickhead to everybody who didn't get it. Well, here's the thing. We have different bodies from different races. Some people who have, some people who are specific ethnicities, they have darker skin, they have different medical concerns. Okay. My neighbor's mom got it and her fucking foot almost fell off. Like, it was fucking nuts. A lady who had a transplant in San Antonio got it and died because she had a transplant and lied about it. It can affect you differently if you have immunosuppressive issues. It can hurt you. My friends with lupus, they can't take it. You know what I mean? So I was being a fucking prick about it. I'm going to just say that right now. And I've apologized to even my own parents who refused, because the last day they gave out the Johnson & Johnson in Texas was the day I went to get mine. And they cut the line off as I was leaving. And they stopped me and they walked me into a room and they said, we need to make you aware of something. And I heard on the speaker, I started freaking out. They said, if you are here to get the Jensen vaccine, please go back online, refill it out. We are no longer giving that vaccine out. I'm so sorry. You can get with a fucking pharmacy coordinator and they said, you're going to have to do Pfizer or the other one. And I was like, wait, why? And then I heard people talking outside about it, and they came in and they said 2 women died today. If you are between 30 and 50, if you're a smoker, if you're over, it's everything I am. And they were like, you need to be careful because it can cause a blood clotting issue and they need to fix it before we do another round of it. Now, did you get yours? And I go, yeah, I got Jensen. And they're like, okay, well, please let us know if you have any issues, contact the CDC, but you're the last one. And I was like, what, dude? Because they just tell me everything that's wrong with you is the people who died today. And they were very transparent with me about it. I go home. I had just finished my period the day before. I already have. If you don't like period talk, get out of here. Who does? Anyway, I just finished it the day before. I have long ones. I have ovarian problems. It was like 9 days. And they're always a few days off. That day my period started, it did not stop for 2 years. Every day for 2 years. Every day of 2019 until the end of 2021. Every day. And I was going through a half a box of super tampons a day. And I contacted the CDC and they did not give a fuck. They couldn't care less. I contacted Jensen. They couldn't fucking care less.
You mean 2020 to 2022 or 2021 to 2022?
Or 2020 until the end of 2021. So it was, it might have even been it was when they first did vaccines. So it might have been the end of 2019. Like, it was the first batch.
Well, it didn't start. COVID didn't start till March of 2020. Yeah. So
it was 2020.
It must have been 2021. Yeah.
When did we go to Hawaii? Okay. Actually, it would have been 2020 to 2022. I need to look at my Vax card. I don't remember, but it was 2 years. Because I remember I had a calendar and I put a little red dot every day.
Send a little vaccine injury claim, though, in because you've had.
I go to every doctor in town. I go everywhere I can. And I needed to get a mammogram at the same time because my tit was getting huge. And that's a whole funny story we're not going to get into, but it has to do with what happened on this man's back. Yeah. Wedding in California, tit exploded. Anyway, that happens. So for 2 years, I'm bleeding. So
stop.
We're talking about my period. So
would you just get your back blown out? You look like a slut.
Yeah, look at his hair.
Look at your hair, you hooker.
He looks like me after the Jensen.
Continue about your bleeding, bitch.
No, oh shit.
Were you just in the back of the Jeep, you fucking whore? What do we?
Okay, we gotta go through. We gotta go through.
Touch our
super
pearls.
chats. We
Touch
gotta go
the
through.
pearls.
super chats.
What are you guys
Touch
doing?
pearls.
$10 from Melissa.
Listen,
Beth.
can't I have
Look
a
at you.
Tuesday
You're
night? What
smoking
night
a
is it?
cigarette.
Wednesday?
You got
Yeah, I'm
bedroom
smoking a butt,
eyes.
bitch.
Miss Parks
Look at
says Chef's
you.
has 45 shot. Thank you, Miss Parks. Gringus is $5. A person never had chicken fat.
You're getting
Scalper.
super
I'm sorry.
chat.
I'm
See,
going to the
good.
super chat. Laura Revire.
We wanted to
Got
get you
bedroom
up.
eyes.
Jude is my
Bedroom
bestie.
eyes.
Lance, a pilar cyst on your husband's head with sterilized
See,
tools.
thank you, Darlene.
It's
Thank
not
you,
bedroom
darling.
eyes.
All
Is
right,
it true
I'm
that
out of this shit.
The
Bye.
answer is Daniel. Oh my God, I'm
God
having
bless.
a fucking panic attack. Who is that
You gotta
guy?
come back.
What
Drop
the
him off.
fuck?